Hi, this is Sue from the Mountain Canary Company. Ed's going to visit with you about how we are dealing with our disabled animal. Go ahead, Ed.
Morning, folks. Thank you all for coming by and visit again. Um, you know, as we go through things here and have problems and work them out and feel like we're kind of winning on the project, I'd like to include you in on it, help you to see what we're doing, and possibly that'll be some assistance to you if you have a similar situation. Well, about, good Lord, 26, 25 years ago or more, we brought a mule in named Miss Kitty. She's a sweetie. She's a tremendous mule. Extremely well trained. Even took on six-figure eventing animals at one time, was beating them. She's amazing. And she's basically been Sue's ride. And I ridden her once. I put a ranger on her once. She got so mad at me after I put the ranger on her, she didn't look at me for, I guess, a couple of weeks. And but as animals do, as we do, they age. Kitty is somewhere in her far end of her 30s. She's been a hard worker and a sweetheart just all through it all. Been a good team player, been no trouble at all. Pulled her weight and was extremely honest in her work with us. But sadly, we came to the conclusion that Miss Kitty was going blind, and is going blind, and is almost blind. She can see a little bit of shadows, but that's about it. And she's still healthy. She's extremely healthy. She has good flesh, but she just can't see. What do you do with a friend like that? It's a friend. It's not just a piece of tooling. And if your animals are a piece of tooling to you, and you probably don't want to listen to a whole lot more of this. She's been our friend, and she's been with me. Oh my God! Ever since I've been packing in the park for the Park Service, Miss Kitty was there pulling her weight, and had all kinds of interesting adventures with Miss Kitty. And but I really weren't that many negative ones. She never got me into trouble I couldn't get it. She could help me get out of. So here we go. Sue noticed that she was afraid Miss Kitty was going blind. So we called the vet out, took a look at her, and he said, oh yeah, she's going blind, this and that, He says, just call me when you need to do something about it. In other words, her blindness is beyond what we can handle. Well, that's not exactly a good answer for Ed. It definitely is not a good answer for Sue right now, who's dabbing her eyes as I tell this story. No, it's when Miss Kitty can't handle it anymore. It's not us. We'll work around it. We'll figure something out. We'll work around it. Well, I'm going to drop back a ways. I was laid up this summer, and going into this summer probably for a year or two, with some heart issues. And last summer they went in and stuck a new valve in there that works a whole lot better. And I'm back on my feet, moving around, and headed for better pastures, so to speak. And so I wasn't on the barn. I didn't go out to the barn hardly at all. I had to recover. I had to take it easy. I had some serious restrictions on me. And Sue, she just jumped in there and took care of everything. She came in several times and said, I'm having some troubles out there. Kitty can't see me. Kitty just bumps into me and runs over the top of me. Well, that would probably be sadly a time to start saying, well, Miss Kitty's not doing too well. Well, maybe we have to deal with this. And I got thinking about it. And I said, I just wonder. She can't find Sue. It's not that she's trying to run over her. She just doesn't know she's there. And when Sue's there and asks her to do something or pushes on her or something, she doesn't really recognize that this is Sue or me. And so I said, there's got to be a way to attempt to give her an opportunity. And again, we're giving her an opportunity to recognize where we are and who we are, that we're not just one of the other mules, and see what she does. You know, there's an old saying amongst cowboys, and is that those jingle bobs on their spurs aren't just for cool. They're not for coolness. The theory that I've heard people tell me is that they were there when they started out there, is that they could go amongst their animals at night and the animals would know they're there. So with that in mind, I suggested, Sue, why don't we try a bell? Why don't we give Miss Katie a chance to see if she knows where you are? So I went to Amazon and I bought a bell. Little bell, hooks on Sue's jacket or on mine, and when we're out there or coming in around her, Kitty can hear us. Well, and again, I was still in the house when I was still being on the lame and lazy list when Sue put the bell on and went out there. She came back in and said, "Wow." First she was a little confused, but what the heck was that? And the next thing when she realized it was me, the next day I went out there, she come smoking to find that bell. And wow. And the other day, she'll go in and out of the field. She can see shadows kind of maybe, and she can travel in and out of one of the fields that we've been letting them in for now. And she knows where gate posts are and so forth. Which, these are animals with a great memory. And she can go out a gate, she can go out the door, different things. But she's just like a regular blind person with a cane, so to speak, tapping their way in. She's tapping it through her memory. And, I went out in the field with her the other day. She asked me to come out and take a look at some of the grass and situation in the field. So I went out there and I didn't have a bell. Sue was tinging along, and here come Kitty. Boy, she came a-smoking. She came running up to me, thinking I was Sue, because I was standing next to Sue, and she starts smelling and realizing, oh, you don't have the bell. And she then starts rooting around, found Sue. Well, then as Sue walked anywhere Sue walked in that field, Miss Kitty was just right next to her, following her everywhere. Well, I know it's a Band-Aid, but it's our Band-Aid. She's our mule, and as long as we can keep her happy and sound for a while, I think we will. There's no rush here. The next step is forever, and we've already gone through that once here just recently. My best friend died. Marty passed away on us here a couple months ago. And I'll sit down someday here with you folks with a cigar and a glass of whiskey and tell you the stories about my Marty. But my Marty is right standing next to our Miss Kitty. They've been together for the whole program almost. So it's just an idea. Now, having said that, I want to travel off a little bit different, and that is, in the middle of the night, I've been with the pack string, and in the middle of the night or early in the morning, which is 3 o'clock in the morning, which is still middle of the night if you just rolled out of a warm bedroll, you got to go amongst them, and it's dark. Well, in most cases, I had a headlamp. So I could put my headlamp on, and I put it on the red light so that I didn't have that bright light in their eyes when they looked at me. They had the red light, which was a whole lot easier on their eyes, a little harder on me to see. But once I got used to the red light and wandering amongst them, I could see. So it made a bit of difference. They know I was there. Always talking to them. I'm always touching them. I'm always talking to the one that's tied right up next to them. So they all know where I'm at. So kind of carried these ideas around. And one of the things I had seriously thought about, if I'd had any problems at night getting amongst them, or early in the morning working amongst them, I'd actually thought, I wonder what can I do about this? And in the back of my mind, I'd come up with the idea again of a bell. They could keep track of me. So in this case, the bell jumped up again. Now, you know we use bells on all our animals when they're traveling to warn hikers on the trail. But this is the first time I've been using it to warn my mules about me. And I think it's well worth a thought. You know, just well worth the thought to... Now we're not so brilliant, but this is just a way to work against a problem. Now, well, as things arise with you and your animals, just don't give up on the project. Keep thinking and working with them, and you could be surprised how many solutions you have that you've never seen before. Now, you know everybody's going to tell you, well, geez, Ed, you shouldn't be working a one-eyed mule or a blind mule. Yeah, you're right. She's not working. Miss Kitty is retired. She's not going back to work. As much as we'd love to put her back to work and have her back with us, she's retired. That's it. Right now, our goal is to make Kitty as comfortable and useful to herself as we can, because she's sure been useful to us in the park, and everybody else has ever needed a mule like that. So I hope this was of some interest to you folks. As we go through these things on a day-to-day basis, I may stop and do one. I had another plan for this. It was different. But last night, middle of the night, this came to me. I said, you know, you got to talk about this. You're doing it. You're in the middle of it. It's fresh. And maybe somebody else has got a similar situation going on. Maybe this can help them. Well, I thank you very much, folks, for coming by. And as always, please ride as safely as you can, but ride as often as you can. Have a great day. We'll see you later.